and Jack Berry and the cast of The Lone Ranger.
A fiery horse at the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. Together with his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the masked rider of the plains fights for law and order in the early western United States. Return with us now to those thrilling days from yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering horsefeet of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. In the early days of the western United States, a vicious band of outlaws terrorized the entire state of Texas. They robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches. They burned homes, stole cattle, and murdered everyone they encountered. The local sheriffs were powerless to stop them, as they never left a trail or witnesses behind for the lawmen to follow. As our story opens, we find the Lone Ranger and his loyal Indian companion, Tonto, racing towards the flaming buildings of the Box X Ranch.
Look, Tonto, that house and barn are on fire. Hi-ho, Silver! Away!
Get 'em up, Scout.
It looks like more work of the Ghost Raiders, Tonto.
That's right, Kimosabi.
Whoa, Silver, steady boy. If there's anyone alive from this fire, we might get there in time to rescue them and to find a clue.
No one left alive there, Kimosabi.
I'm afraid you're right, Tonto. Let's make sure, though. Someone might still be alive in that burning house. This is the third time we've seen this kind of thing, Tonto. Whoa, Silver. Whoa, boy. Hold on.
Me hear man in there. Him still alive.
Tonto, you're right. It sounds like he's over there, by the fireplace. Yes, over there. Tonto, go see how badly he's hurt.
Right, Kimosabi.
Oh, my head. My head hurt.
Steady there. We're here to help.
That's right, Kimosabi.
Oh, my head. Like it's cracked open.
Him got bad bump on head.
He hit me with a rifle butt. I can't see so good, mister.
Hold on there. Just take it easy. You're hurt pretty badly.
But I thought I heard someone groaning a while back. Someone else has survived, I think.
Tonto, take a look around. I've got to get him out of this house before the roof falls down.
Me do that.
There it is again. Help whoever it is, stranger.
Him over there. Him alive. Me carry him out.
Who is it?
Is that you, Sheriff Burns? I thought them devils had killed everyone. Sheriff!
It sounds like Cliff. Oh, my head would clear.
It's me, all right, Sheriff. It's me, Cliff Halstead.
Cliff, you hurt bad?
They got me in the shoulder, but it ain't so bad. I was trying to drag myself out of the house before the smoke got to me. I passed out a couple times, but my shoulder.
You be all right. Me help.
Hurry, Tonto. We have to get these two out of here before the roof falls in.
I seem better now. Thanks, stranger.
Lie still now. You've had a tough time of it.
Thanks. Oh, a masked man and an Indian? Why, you're part of that outlaw gang. Why,
We aren't outlaws. This mask is on the side of law and order, and I wear this mask for my own reasons. Now, we saw the fire and came to help. Now, whose ranch is this?
Well, it's Cliff Halstead's.
Yeah, at least it was mine. Ain't nothing left of it now.
Well, that's Cliff Halstead there, you see. And I'm the sheriff.
I see your badge.
My name's Burns, Sheriff Burns. Now, if you aim to really help, you'll find a way to get us into town.
We'll get you into town, all right, Sheriff.
I've got to get a posse together and go after these outlaws. I've got to...
You need to rest first. You're in no shape to lead a posse, but you can help me. Give me some information. Do you have any idea who these raiders are?
No, we couldn't see any of them. They had all their faces covered. Just like you, masked man.
Well, this is a masked gang, and this isn't their first raid. Have you heard of the Ghost Raiders? They've already struck half a dozen ranches east of here.
They have? Why haven't we heard about it?
They never leave survivors. And news travels slowly in this part of the country, in spite of the railroad.
Then we are plumb lucky to be alive.
Very lucky.
What else do you know about them, mister?
I only know two things. They seem to attack in regular intervals, and no one has been able to find their trail. They vanish like ghosts.
Is that so? Ghosts, huh? Well, I don't believe in ghosts, and this is beginning to make me hopping mad. They always attack ranches like mine?
Just like yours, Cliff. 3 weeks ago, they attacked a ranch about 40 miles east of here. And 3 weeks before that, they made another attack. And just 3 weeks before that, another. No survivors.
Dad, blame it, them varmints.
And no trace of the cattle they stole has ever been found.
Well, land sakes, they got nearly 400 head of my cattle. Any idea where they might hide them?
I don't know, Cliff, but I have an idea. Sheriff, is your head better now?
Yeah, it hurts like thunderation, but I'll be all right.
Well enough to ride tomorrow?
Yep, I expect so. Where to?
Well, to trail the outlaws. If my idea's right, I want you along so I can show you proof.
Mask or no mask, stranger, I'm with you.
And you can count on me too. Tarnation, I'm with you.
You can't travel with that shoulder, Cliff. You take it easy for a few days.
But where? Them embers is all that's left of my ranch. I ain't got no home, and all I worked for is gone.
You can come and stay at my house, Cliff. My wife and I would be happy to have you.
Well, I reckon I can set with that. Thank you, Sheriff.
We'll take you there as soon as Tonto finishes the bandaging.
Grateful to you, Tonto.
Thank you, Tonto.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto try to put out the fire, but it's a total loss. Cliff's home is completely destroyed. They discover that all 20 of the ranch hands have been killed by the Ghost Raiders. Not a single head of cattle is left, not one. Later that same day, Sheriff Burns and Cliff feel well enough to travel, and Tonto and the Lone Ranger bring the two victims back to Osage. The next morning, the Lone Ranger and Tonto meet the sheriff and bank manager Harvey Anderson at Mrs. OLearys Cafe to discuss strategy.
Oh, top of the morning to you, Sheriff Burns. What is this now? 'Tis a masked man and an Injun you be bringing to Mrs. OLearys.
Well, it's okay, Mrs. O'Leary. They're on the side of law and order. This is the masked man and his partner, Tonto, who helped Cliff and me out at the Halstead ranch yesterday. Masked man, this is the town's bank manager, Harvey Anderson, and this is Miss O'Leary. She owns this eating establishment, and I gotta tell you, she serves up some mighty fine victuals.
Well, now, Sheriff, you must have been kissing the old Blarney Stone again. You'd better be careful or I'll stack more Johnny cakes on your plate. Now, would you and the Injun like something mighty tasty to eat, masked man?
No thanks. Maybe just a cup of coffee for Tonto and me. Do you have any more news about this gang?
Well, we were just talking. We think this is the same gang, the Ghost Raiders, that have been robbing all the stagecoaches round about these parts.
Harvey, I believe you're right, but tell me, why do you think these are the Ghost Raiders?
Well, because they never leave anyone alive who would identify them. And they only strike when there's gold or cash or cattle to steal. Exactly like the other robberies. And no one lives to see them. And like ghosts, they just vanish.
Okay, then. When's the last time they robbed a train?
Well, that's the strange part. 2 months ago, Harvey and I planned a train ambush for him when a big gold shipment was planted on the train, but they never attacked. We was all set up to catch them, but they never showed, and they haven't been seen since. Ghosts.
Yeah, and they did rob the stagecoach about 3 months ago, a month or so before our ambush. Got away with a boatload of cash intended for the bank, they did, but no survivors. Could have been the same gang as burned down Cliff's place.
Ah, sure, and you know it cannot be the same gang. Even the last time the gang struck was 3 months ago. Well, in my opinion, I think those robbers got enough money and they're long gone down to Mexico, maybe. 'Tis mighty grand down Mexico way, you know, even for a band of ghosties.
No, I doubt that's true. Outlaws will be outlaws all their lives. They're evil, and they will never have enough money.
You know, we could never understand how they knew when to strike, or when the trains and stagecoaches had gold, cash, or cattle was in within raiding distance. The only two people who knew when the shipments were arranged and who knew about the planned ambush were the sheriff and me.
Oh, well, maybe they're not ghosts. They're leprechauns, and they have the luck of the Irish.
Tonto, sounds like the same gang to me.
Me think that right, Kimosabi. Them steal gold and now steal cattle.
Harvey, you say the last episode before the failed ambush was about 3 months ago.
Yep. Then after that, all of a sudden, like they just stopped cold. Darndest thing. Well, until the Halstead ranch.
And begorra, Sheriff Burns, 'tis a miracle indeed. You and Cliff Halstead were the only ones who survived. The saints preserve us.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Oh, now me Irish eyes tell me that if this was the same gang, they would not have spared you and Cliff, No, boyo, they surely would not. You'd be goners.
No, Miss O'Leary, they thought we were goners. And if it hadn't been for this masked man here and Tonto riding in when they did, we would have been killed in this fire, just like everyone else.
Sheriff, could you give us directions to the location where this gang robbed the stage 3 months ago? Their last episode before this one.
As the old saying goes, the hills are not greener out there. Why would you be wanting to go to that desolate spot? 'Twas over 3 months ago, boyo.
I have my reasons, and I'd rather not say right now.
The same day, the Lone Ranger and Tonto make camp outside of town and then visit the location of the 3-month-old stagecoach robbery the next day. As they ride in, they are suddenly ambushed by 2 of the outlaws who are hiding in the rocks above the trail.
Come on, Tonto. Head for those rocks over there.
Shots come from rocks up there. Up there. I see 2 men shoot at us. Them right away on trail in rock up above.
Tonto, are you okay?
Them not come close to me. One of them bad shot. One almost hit you, Kimosabi.
Yes, Tonto, if it hadn't been for Silver, they would have hit me. Silver reared up just before the shot, and so it missed me.
Him pretty smart horse.
You said them.
That's right, Kimosabi. 2 men shoot at us. One not very good shot. Why you think they shoot at us?
Someone told the Ghost Raiders that we'd be coming out here today, and I think I know who. Look around, Tonto, and see what clues you can find out about the stagecoach robbery.
Red dirt. It only in this area. It pretty soft. Them leaves many horse prints. Me think there are 30 horses here.
Let's go, Tonto. I need to talk to the sheriff fast. Hi-ho, Silver! Away!
The Lone Ranger wins the full confidence of the sheriff. The next day, he and Tonto spend the day studying the ruins of the Box X Ranch and waiting for the sheriff to arrive.
Tonto, I'm sure our idea's right, but it may be hard to prove. That's Sheriff Burns coming now.
Him right on time.
Whoa there, boy. Well, here I am, masked man. So now, what's this idea of yours to catch them scallywags?
I'll tell you later, but first, Tonto and I have already found a trail that might be that of the outlaws.
Found it? How'd you do that, by jingo?
My friend here has no equal in finding and reading trails.
I reckon I've heard that. Injuns are uncanny that way. You riding that trail?
Just waiting for you.
Well, I'm here. Let's head out. You're right about that engine part of yours. He's better than a bloodhound when it comes to following trail, and that's not all.
No? What's that?
Well, he fixed Cliff Halstead up as good as new. His shoulder's fine. Doc says he can't believe it, but he'll be up in about another day or so. Cliff was raring to go this morning. Would have too if I hadn't forced him to stay home in bed.
I'm glad to hear that, Sheriff. His shoulder will be completely healed in a short time.
Yep, it sure will.
And then he'll be able to help us with the attack on the outlaw gang.
That's right. He'll be able to help attack? What? Gosh, you ain't figuring on attacking them critters, are you? There must be 60 more of them. From what I heard, they're all devils, all of them.
Why not?
Why, we can't get enough men together to go after them. I'd be lucky to get 50 or 20 men all told.
We'll worry about that after we locate them, Sheriff.
Okay, masked man. You seem to know what you're doing. Leastwise, I sure as a hell beans hope you do. Ghost Raiders, 60 of them. Attacking, stealing.
Whoa, Scout. Whoa, boy. Whoa.
Whoa. Why'd you stop, Tonto?
Trail end. Trail end here.
The railroad tracks. Ha! I knew it.
Yeah, you right, Kimosabi.
Good. Very good.
Good? I don't see what's good about it. There ain't nothing here but them dad-blasted railroad tracks, as far as I can see. No more trail. Now, how are we gonna...
Those tracks, Sheriff, tell the entire story. Are you absolutely certain, Tonto, that the trail of the cattle stops at the railroad tracks?
That's right.
Well, if the trail went further, we could follow the cattle a dart side easier.
And that's exactly why those outlaws have been so secure.
Well, I don't savvy.
Get off your horse, Burns. Let me show you something.
All right.
Now, this flat rock will work to draw on. And I'll use this sharp stone here to scratch some lines. Now, look here. This is the railroad track. See?
Yeah, okay.
Right here is the Circle K Ranch. That was the first one to be raided by the outlaws, conveniently, near the tracks. You see that?
Yeah, I don't know they'd been raided, though.
All the men were wiped out, the buildings burned, and the cattle stolen. Now, following the tracks toward the west, we find the next ranch.
Yeah?
That was raided in the same way, just 3 weeks after the Circle K Ranch tragedy. Follow the tracks. The next ranch was west of that. And here, the next ranch after that, and so on, every 3 weeks until we come to the Box X.
Well, that's Chris Halstead's place.
And that brings us to right here, where once again, the cattle trail ends at the boundary of the train tracks.
Same thing that happened in the rustling of the other ranches.
Yes, and that proves the railroad train was here to transport the stolen cattle to some market in the east.
So that's how them dang polecats move them longhorns.
It is.
And hang it all, it means that the next attack should occur when the next train comes and that heads east.
Exactly.
Which is Jeb Cummings' ranch. It's the next best place to the west. Jeb Cummings' ranch will be next.
I'm sure of it, Sheriff.
Shucks, what's the use of being sure? There ain't a chance of getting enough men to fight them outlaws anyway. They've got an army of men lined up, all 2-gun men and well-mounted, not a tenderfoot among them.
Then suppose you just do nothing and just let the outlaws take over the state.
What the?
Well, that's what you're suggesting.
Heck no. I'm not. I'm just hopping mad is what I am. I'm darned if I'm going to let these low-down skunks ruin our community. I'm asking you for orders. You just tell me where to get to the men to fight, then watch my guns smoke.
The outlaw gang is in their hideout, miles from where the Lone Ranger talks to the sheriff. Their camp is well concealed. They always cover their tracks, and they always feel absolutely secure.
Riding for miles on this choo-choo train is the slickest thing I ever heard of.
You're right, Bart. It stops everyone from following the trail, including them bloodhounds.
Hey, Blackie, when's the boss due back?
Hey, just take my advice and don't ask no dingbat questions, Billy.
Yeah, it don't make no good sense to ask questions about the boss. Boss Lacey don't like it.
I was just wondering, Bart.
Don't wonder, kid. Savvy?
I savvy. Hey, what's that? Horse coming in.
Why, that's Boss Lacey now. I can tell her riding a mile off.
Her? Wait a minute. The boss is a woman?
Yeah, she's a woman. But don't let that fool you. She's the fastest draw I ever seen, and I've seen plenty, see?
Is she mighty pretty too, huh?
Hey, you hard-headed? You loco? Don't even go there. She'd drop you faster than you could think about it. You see those 2 guns she wears? She's practiced with them every day. I've seen her go through 100 rounds a day. Hey, Blackie, you reckon she's got the dope on her next job?
Yep, I reckon so.
Oh, wonder what it gonna be.
Hey, Billy boy, I told you not to get too curious. Boss Lacey will tell us what we need to know.
Oh, gosh, she looks powerful mad about something today. Wonder what the heck's going on.
She looks awfully young to be the boss. Kinda sweet and all.
You don't worry about that. She's smart enough. Heck, who else do you know who could plan a job like this, huh? Sweet and all. Man, oh man.
Whoa. Hey, you. Take care of my horse.
Oh, she's mad about something, all right. Mighty mad.
I got something to say to all you hombres, and I ain't gonna waste words. So listen up. I just found out that after the raid on the Box X ranch, you left 2 alive.
Oh, but boss...
2! Maybe they've seen us. Maybe they can tell what we look like and how we talk. Maybe they can lead a posse out after us.
What, you mean there's a posse on our trail right now?
Did I say so, Bart?
Well,
Did I?
No, ma'am, sir.
Then shut up. But you were supposed to see that everyone was taken care of proper like.
Yeah, but...
So tell me, how'd you come to miss out on Cliff Halstead and Sheriff Burns?
Well, I could have sworn they was dead. Besides, the last I saw them, they were in a burning house. I mean, I don't see how they could have survived that and all, you know? No way.
Well, they did, and they ain't dead.
Did they tell anything about us, boss?
Yeah.
They don't know nothing more about us now than they did before the raid. But that ain't no excuse for you hombres. This is the last warning. From now on, if any of you fall down on the job, you get what we give the others. Now, we're going over our plans for our next job, the Jeb Cummins Ranch.
We using the train again?
Did I say we weren't, Bart?
No.
As soon as the train is here, we move in on the Cummins Ranch.
Do the same things as last time, boss?
Yeah, except for leaving survivors. We don't need to change our plans none. Blackie, you and your boys take care of driving the cattle to the train.
Okay, boss.
Bart, I'm leaving you in charge of killing everyone. Oh, and Bart, don't mess it up this time.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, ma'am, sir, I won't. No, I won't.
Jose, you and your men set fire to all the buildings.
Senorita?
We've got some of our own men working at the Cummins Ranch. When we make our attack, they'll work from the inside out, and we'll work from the outside in.
Oh, that's a pretty slick scheme there, boss.
Now pass the time as you want, but stay in camp. When the train comes, we start.
Hey, Blackie.
What?
Hey, listen, Pard. Can you tell me just one thing? I've been hankering to find out how the boss works this whole railroad business. She seems really smart.
No, I can't. Well, I guess suppose there ain't no harm in telling you. Boss Lazy has a regular business worked out. The main office is over in Cantonville, you know, where the railroad office is located.
Yeah, I know the town.
See? She also has connections with some cattle outfit in the east. They buy the cattle. When Boss Lacey sells the cattle, her railroad connection arranges to pick up the cattle at a certain ranch along the railroad line. Easy.
But the ranches we attack, don't them firms buying the cattle know that these are stolen longhorns?
Nah, Boss Lacey has that worked out too. We have a special way to change the brands on the cattle while we're shipping them off. That's one of the jobs you and I'll have when we get the cattle on the train. And boy, is it fun.
Okay, but what about the men who work the train? How do we take care of them?
See, there's only 2 of them, the engineer and the fireman.
Well, don't they care if we're loading stolen cattle?
Oh, of course not. They don't care, because they're part of our gang. They're one of us. Boss Lacey got them jobs with the railroad months ago. I'll tell you, she's got everything covered. She makes sure that the same men will run the train each time. And that's why she has to wait for that particular train at that particular time. Yeah, she's even got a man in the telegraph office to make darn sure they're the ones running that train for the day in question.
Gosh, there just ain't no way to break up a gang as slick as this one. Ooh-wee.
Nope, there ain't. I'll tell you, Pard. You're with the smartest boss when you're with Boss Lacey. Just watch how she takes that Cummins Ranch. It'll be a sight to see. Ixnay, here she comes.
Now you know, men, everyone in this outfit is a fast shooter. If you wasn't, you wouldn't be in this gang. I'm building this gang into the smartest one the West ever knew. Now you all know what I want for you, and Blackie'll see to it that you obey orders. Now, we've got plans made to clear out the Jeb Cummins Ranch. Jeb Cummins has one of the finest herds of cattle in this state, and I can get a great price for them. Now listen careful, and I'll tell you what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna move in.
Later that same day, the Lone Ranger and Tonto meet at the office of Sheriff Burns to discuss their plans.
How well do you know Jeb Cummings, Sheriff?
Well, I heard tell of him. He owns the largest cattle ranch in these here parts, close to 2,000 head. I've been told, but personally I don't know him at all. He lives 2 towns over in North Bend.
Do you know the sheriff in North Bend?
Well, sure do. Yancey Carter. He's the sheriff over there. He's married to my sister.
Well, I'm going to ride out and talk to Jeb Cummings. I want you and Tonto to ride over to North Bend tomorrow and talk to Sheriff Carter. Now, listen carefully. Here's our plan.
The next morning, as Tonto and Sheriff Burns traveled to North Bend to explain their plans to Sheriff Carter, the Lone Ranger rides up on a cowboy who is fixing fences on the Cummings Ranch. Seeing his mask, he starts to draw his gun, but the Lone Ranger's lightning draw is much quicker.
Okay, what do you want, mister? You got the drop on me. I ain't got nothing worth stealing. I'm just a hard-working cowboy.
I'm not an outlaw. I wear this mask for my own reasons. Now, I need you to take me to see Jeb Cummings.
You're with the Ghost Raiders. If you're not an outlaw, why the mask then?
I told you, I'm not an outlaw. I wear this mask for my own reasons.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you want me to see my boss for?
I don't have time to explain it to you. This is a matter of great urgency. Now, get on your horse and take me to Jeb Cummings now.
As the Lone Ranger and Slim ride to the ranch house of the Cummings Ranch, Slim explains to the Lone Ranger that his boss, Jeb Cummings, is in failing health, and that the ranch is actually run by Butch Henry, the foreman of the Cummings Ranch. As the scene opens, Butch is explaining to his boss, Jeb Cummings, his concerns about the recent raid on the Box X Ranch and a possible raid on their ranch.
Butch, what's wrong? You seem like you're really not with it today.
Oh, I'm okay, boss. Just seems like when one thing goes wrong, everything else has to bust loose at the seams at the same time.
What are you talking about? What's wrong?
I don't know what's wrong, boss. Nothing you can put your finger on. But the hands are all worried about raiders and snoopers. And I have a funny feeling. I just can't figure.
What do you mean, Butch? Spit it out.
Well, I told you what we'd heard about the raid east of here.
You mean the raid on the Box X Ranch? You aren't really worried about those ghost raiders, are you?
Yeah, I am. Yesterday, the boys saw a couple of hombres sneaking around and spying on the cattle.
You mean?
I mean, I'm powerful afraid we're in for trouble. And I don't think they're ghosts.
Yeah, but we got plenty of hands to fight. And we can fight real raiders.
You mean we had plenty of hands?
What?
I didn't tell you before, boss, but a few of the boys deserted a while back as soon as they heard this here raiding business. I had to have hands, so I hired whoever come along. Even those men I hired about 2 months ago, I don't know how far they can be trusted. Something's not right.
You mean maybe you had some outlaws?
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. I don't like the looks of these new men, but I can't run a ranch without help.
It would be a slick outlaw plan to have men on the ranch that they plan to clean out.
Yeah, I tell you, boss, I don't like the looks of things. I'm skittish as a newborn colt. Maybe you should go to town for a bit. Tell them raiders are caught.
Absolutely not. I'm staying right here. This is my ranch, and I aim to defend it.
But if there's anything to this raiding business, you won't be safe here.
Then no buts. I'm staying. If there's any danger, I'm not leaving. Who is it? Come in. What's wrong?
This here masked man rode up on me while I was out fixing fences. He demanded I bring him to see you.
An outlaw?
I'm not an outlaw. I wear this mask for my own reasons.
If you're not an outlaw, why are you wearing that mask and those 2 fancy 6 guns? And why are you snooping around my ranch?
I told him I'll tell you. I wear this mask for my own reasons. Now, I came here to speak to you on a most urgent matter.
Okay, then. Tell me what you came here to talk about.
Several ranches east of here have been attacked and men killed.
Yeah, we know that already.
Well, your ranch will be next.
Why, you low...
Yeah, see, boss, see, he's one of them. He's making threats.
No, I came here to warn you.
You mean you came here to spy on us? If my man hadn't caught you, you'd be back with your pards right now, telling them the whole layout of this ranch. You ain't nothing but a lying scoundrel.
Though your hand didn't catch me, I had to bring him here. Now, no matter what you think, your ranch is in grave danger.
Shall I take his guns, boss? He said to come along peaceably if we left his guns and mask alone.
Good idea. There's enough of us to take him right now. Hand over those guns, mister. I'm aiming to find out just who you are.
Stand back, and don't any of you make a move.
Whew, did you see that draw? Oh, he's the fastest I ever seen. Gee willikers, mister.
I didn't even get my hand on my gun, and he'd already drawn.
Now, I warned you, Cummings. Now guard yourself against the outlaws and stand where you are.
Open that door and get after him. Don't let him get away.
He pushed the chair in front of the door. We can't get out.
There we are. Shoot him down, shoot him down.
No use going after him. That horse of his is like greased lightning.
No use even shooting at him either. He's too far away already.
Maybe he did just come here to warn us, boss.
You heard him threaten us.
Yeah, but maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he wasn't threatening. Maybe he did come here just to warn us.
Well, boss, Butch might be right. He had a drop on me. I didn't bring him. He brought me.
Either way, we need to be prepared.
What do we do, boss?
First, we set out a double watch. All the men we can trust.
We haven't got enough hands.
Well, we've got enough men if we'll work day and night. We've got to prepare for an attack. We'll take 3 hours sleep a day and spend the rest of the time in preparation.
Well, what else?
Well, we'll have the new men set up barricades, board up all the windows, round up all the cattle, and take them down to the South Range. They'll be harder to find down there. And don't use any of those new men to move the cattle. And don't tell them where you're taking them either.
You got it, boss. I'm glad to hear that you're suspicious of these new men. I don't trust them neither.
Well, let them go then. No use having outlaws working against us. And let's be ready to fight to the finish.
Our setting changes to the town of Osage. Cliff Halstead, answering now that he has recovered, asked the sheriff several questions that the outlaw refuses to answer directly.
I ain't saying nothing about our plans, Cliff, in case they don't work out. How's your wound?
I told you before, Sheriff. It's all right. I'm as good as new thanks to that Injun Tonto. Where's he got to, anyhow?
I don't rightly know.
Well, ain't there anything you can tell me? For days now, we just been waiting, just a-waiting. That's all. Cleaning our guns, keeping the horses saddled, ready to ride. What are we waiting for?
I can't tell you, Cliff.
Oh, well, how long will it be before you can tell me?
When's the next train due?
How in thunder should I know? The last train meant my ranch was wiped out. If I never see another train, it'll be too soon.
I reckon you'll see more trains, Cliff. Maybe the next one will be as much good luck as the last one was bad luck.
You're talking in riddles. Are you sure them cow thieves used the railroad? Seems mighty hard somehow.
I ain't sure of nothing. I'm just waiting, Cliff. Just waiting. Same as you.
You ready to ride, Sheriff?
Is it time to ride, Tonto?
It's time now.
Okay. Come on, man. Follow me.
Working strategically, Sheriff Burns enlists every able-bodied man in Osage. At his command, they mount their horses and ride after him. The sheriff shouts out to the men they see as they pass each ranch, no matter how small.
Come on, turn out. The time is at hand. Get your horse and follow me. Get up there.
As the hard-riding posse thunders between Osage and Jeff Cummings' ranch, the numbers increase. They pass through the sleepy town of Meredith, and once again, the voice of Sheriff Burns summons more men to meet them.
Turn out, boys. Turn out. Get your guns and horses and follow us. The masked man needs you.
The sheriff and his hard-riding posse race along, swelling their numbers as they go. The Lone Ranger also sent a messenger to muster the town of North Bend. The outlaws, too, are preparing their attack, and when the train they're expecting slows down near the Cummings Ranch, they know this is their signal for the gang to start their well-planned raid.
Remember, boys, what you're supposed to do, and don't mess up. There's the train now. They're ready for us to load the cattle on. Head for the house first and get all of Cummings and his ranch hands. We need to make sure we get all the cowmen. Lastly, we get the cattle. And remember, don't leave no survivors this time.
While the outlaws race towards the ranch, Jeb Cummings and his ranch hands check their guns and stand ready to fight. They feel their cause is hopeless, but they are prepared to make a desperate attempt to defend themselves.
Okay, boys, here they come. The train is already stopping at the track. There ain't none of us that'll see it, but take as many of them as you can, boys, before you go down. How close are they now, Butch?
Not far now, boss. The moon makes things as bright as day. They're starting. They're starting.
All right, boys, pour lead into them.
Look, boss, they've got more men on that train.
Yeah?
Yeah, look, them cattle cars are pouring out scores of men.
How many men they got in that gang?
Silver? Did you hear that?
That's the same man that was here yesterday.
They're attacking us.
Oh, it can't be true. No, look again. They're not attacking us. They're attacking the rustlers.
We don't need to fight. Look at them others. Cut down them rustlers.
This is our fight, Slim. We need to cut them rustlers down, too.
Sheriff Burns' posse leaps from the cattle cars and closes in on the outlaws. The outlaws are completely surprised by the sight of the sheriff and his men pouring out of the cattle cars. Meanwhile, Sheriff Carter attacks from the north. And now that thieves are surrounded, Boss Lacey is shot down in the fighting.
Oh, they got me, boys.
And a score more of the outlaws are hit before the posse's blazing guns. The remaining outlaws throw down their guns and surrender.
Don't shoot. I surrender. We all surrender. We'll all face trial.
You'll face trial, all right.
And you'll tell all you know about this scheme.
It was Lacey's gang.
She's dead.
She's the one. She had everything all lined up.
Well, where is my cattle?
Your cows are sold, but give me a chance. I'll get the money back for you. I will. I'll promise.
Stranger, I thought when you was here last time, you was making a threat. But now I know you was the best friend we had. We sure owe it to you, masked man. Everything. Thank you.
Glad to be of help. Come on, Sheriff. We need to ride back to town. There's one more thing we've got to do.
The outlaw gang is now captured. The Cummings Ranch, the people, the cattle herds are all saved from destruction and murder. But there's one last crucial detail that the Lone Ranger needs to complete. Tonto, Sheriff Burns, and the Lone Ranger race back towards Osage to round up the last member of the Ghost Raiders gang. In town, they see Harvey Anderson's horse tied up in front of Mrs. OLearys Cafe. They tie up their horses as well and go inside where they see Harvey Anderson chatting with Mrs. O'Leary. The two are finishing a cup of Irish coffee.
Good morning, Harvey, Mrs. O'Leary. We meet again.
Oh, good morning, Sheriff, Masked Man, Tonto. I hear there's good news in the wind today.
Oh, it is a grand morning to be sure, gentlemen. Oh, I be closed early today to go to me lady's sewing circle. But you folks can stay and drink the rest of the pot, as me Irish granny used to say.
Hold on a minute, Mrs. O'Leary. I have seen you before. In fact, I recognized you the first time I saw you.
What?
And you're no more Irish than I am. In fact, you're the leader of this gang.
What? Well, 'tis a lot of poppycock that I never did hear. Tchoo, for sure, and I never masked man. I cannot bear to think anyone would believe a silly fairy story like that. Sheriff, Harvey, both of you have been customers of mine for over 3 years. You be knowing me. I belong to the ladies' sewing circle with both of your wives. You know I'm a church-going lady. I'm in the choir at church, and I'm there every Sunday.
No, it's true. You are the real leader of this gang.
No.
Furthermore, I captured your husband, Colonel John Lacey, 4 years ago.
Who's Colonel Lacey?
Him pretty bad fellow.
He was a ruthless colonel who fought on the side of the South. After the war, he continued raiding ranches about 300 miles north of here, and robbing trains and stagecoaches and murdering anyone who got in his way. He was hanged about 4 years ago in Deadwood. How long has Mrs. O'Leary been here in town?
Well, I'd have to say about 3.5, maybe 4 years ago.
Just about the time her husband was hanged. You were one of the ones who shot at Tonto and me when we went out to look at the location of the stagecoach holdup.
Why, that is outrageous. Fate. I don't be owning a gun now. I certainly don't know how to shoot a gun.
Well, you're right about one thing. Thankfully, you're not a very good shot. It was your daughter, the infamous Boss Lacey, who was running the gang. But you're the real brains of the outfit. I remember you had that same red dirt on your shoes when we got back from the stagecoach holdup site. Look, it's still there now.
Well, that don't prove anything. Fate and Bigora. Red dirt and me be shooting at ya? Me setting up stagecoach and train robberies? Oh, well, I never heard of such a thing, Sheriff. Sheriff, you're not believing any of this malarkey.
Well, yeah, Ms. O'Leary, I am. I've seen that rifle you have behind the counter. It's right here, and it smells like it's been fired recently.
Harvey, when you and the sheriff discussed the train and stagecoach cash shipments, were you here at Mrs. O'Leary's?
Oh, you know, come to think of it, it was right here. We have breakfast over here every morning, and the only other person who could have heard us was you, Mrs. O'Leary. That means you knew about the time and the place of those stage and train shipments. The sheriff and I talked about them right here in your place. You listened and set up those robberies.
Mrs. O'Leary, you're under arrest.
Fate, it's about time I can talk like a true Texan. I don't regret none of it. My husband, he was a great man and a real war hero. If the South would have won that daggum war, why, he most likely would have been governor or even the president by now. He knew how to make men do what he wanted, and he could move mountains.
Your husband was a murdering outlaw, and so are you and your daughter, God rest her soul. And with your arrest, I guess we've captured the whole gang, thanks to you, Masked Man. Hey, where'd he go?
He must have slipped out the back door. Oh, shucks. I wanted to thank him and Tonto. Besides, I wanted to ask him what his name was. We just can't keep calling him the Masked Man.
Oh, dang it, you slow-witted cowpokes. Don't y'all know who that was? He's the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger and Tonto are the best crime fighters that poor outlaw gangs like mine have ever known. Fie on the Lone Ranger. He won again.
Come on, Tonto. We're headed for Oroville. I hear there's a dam about to break.